daddies, metal daddies, metal daddies, metal daddies. Metal daddies.
Welcome back to Death Metal Daddies. My name is Jeff,
Oh, hello. I'm Silas.
and today we're going to be doing some metal news.
News Weekly.
Metal news.
Yeah, it's Metal News Day. So, I
Sad
feel
day.
like there's one thing we got to bring up because it happened on the day we are recording this, and that is the day Metal died. Today
Yeah.
at I want to say it's around noon when news broke, but I guess it happened early in the morning. Um, the father of metal, Ozzy Osbourne, has passed. Today, July 22nd, a couple weeks after his farewell concert festival, whatever you want to call it, the giant thing that they did. And
Yeah.
it's
Crazy.
sad, sad day.
I mean, I'm so glad that he got to have that send off. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just so weird how it was like meant to be,
Hmm.
And I heard it on the radio station today. They announced it and talked about how it's pretty much the perfect kind of storybook ending that he could have had, and I couldn't agree more. But and then they played Changes by Black Sabbath, and I was like, holy shit,
Ah.
it is 3 p.m. and I'm about to start crying next to my coworker. It's like, you fucking assholes. Jeez. Yeah, it was brutal. It was a silent, awkward truck ride, and we just listened to the entire Changes. I was like, well, damn, that was rough. I guess let's go haul some more brush, buddy.
Yeah, that
Like
has been
shit.
the song I've been playing a lot since I heard that, and also the cover they did at the show. It's like, it just gets you right in the feels.
Damn, dude, it does, man. It's there's definitely a cloud, over today, and I think for good reason. It's just a monument that you can't describe in words to this genre that we fucking talk shit about, and built our shit around. So it's yes, hats off, Ozzy, the great one and only legend. Um, will never be replaced, won't ever be another one. So it's yeah, man. He was huge. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
and I was even thinking today, like if you think about it, he has been almost like kind of like culturally raising like people in metal for what 50 years now because in the
Yeah,
70s he
man.
was Black Sabbath, 80s he did the solo project which was pretty huge too. They still play Crazy Train and Bark the Moon at like high school football games and stuff. uh
Right.
90s he
Yeah.
started Ozfest, which was
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest contribution besides his music, but the contribution of creating a touring heavy metal festival throughout the United States, which not only showcased like older bands like Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Iron Maiden, but also introduced new bands like System of a Down, Slipknot, uh,
Yeah, dude.
OTEP, and stuff like that. Then 2000s was the Osbournes TV show, uh, and then the tens he started doing these like guest features and stuff like that. Like he has a Post Malone
Post
feature.
Malone. Yeah.
For the past 50 years he has been kind of just creating and introducing new generations every
Right.
decade to metal music. So he's been a
It's
big
very cool.
part.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely, dude. And it's important to highlight that because, you know, he could have been your common kind of older person and shunned it and shunned all the newer styles like new metal to accept new metal as an older man. Like I just feel like you have to be a different individual, and that guy was, man. But it's yeah, welcomed it with open arms, putting on Metal Ozfest, bringing all those fucking probably crazy ass bands that all the older people probably bitched about around those times. So it's cool what he did, man, and yeah, carried the torch of metal for many years, man. It's crazy, yeah. Very cool though. Very, I
Yeah.
mean, a very cool life for sure,
hmm Yeah, and I do wonder how much because like you said, it is this perfect storybook ending. Like he had that giant set or whatever the concert, the farewell concert. And
Yeah,
then like just
finale.
2 weeks later he ended it or he died with supposedly with all his family around him, just kind of slowly accepting it. I almost wonder how much the show also probably caused a little bit of it because you got to think like he had already been diagnosed and battling Parkinson's, so he already accepted he was probably dying soon. So I'm assuming that concert probably took a lot of energy out of him. So he probably is like
Mm,
more and more accepting of it every day after that. So
yeah,
just
I just
sad
can't
day.
help to, right, yeah, just with the timing of it, I can't help but think that he almost kind of knew that it was coming. It had to be kind of one of those situations. Like he was okay to go now. It's just
hmm
like what it says to me. So, but I'm a failure. I still haven't watched it. I still haven't caught up on my due diligence of tuning in on that. So I still need to watch that, and yeah, I'll probably go back and cry now. So that's awesome. But yeah.
Yeah, I've only watched a couple clips here and there because I don't know if there's an actual like full like official
Oh,
one. A
okay.
lot of the ones I've been watching is like there's some like official like video ones. Most of it's just been like people recording it from their phones. Like someone recorded the full Ozzy Osbourne set, then the full Black Sabbath set and stuff like that. But I did today watch I had to watch the Changes cover by Youngblood, which it's like just it gets you. Um
Yeah.
but then I
Yeah.
also had to watch Slayer's set because I also miss them, but different reasons. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's sad. I also feel like even his farewell show, I felt like brought a lot of people together. Like I saw, Jocko Willink.
Oh, yeah. The Marine.
Yeah, he even posted that he went to it as well. Jason
Wow.
Momoa was there. A lot of big name people were there. It's like it was bringing a lot of people who you typically wouldn't see going to the show. Like there was common people, like probably people like just like me and you. Then there's also a bunch of
Yeah.
celebrities going. It just felt like good. Let's unite around our love for Ozzy Osbourne kind of thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah, man, he was legendary, dude. I mean, and not just even this genre's culture, but fucking modern culture, dude. Like the Osbournes were on MTV, like
hmm
how bizarre, I mean, MTV music television, whatever, but it's he was still, people were fans of his that fucking listened to Madonna, shit like that, I that's all I'm getting at, but it's just yeah, dude, a guy that just almost could, who was hard to hate.
hmm
Because he was like such a goofball in that show and shit. But yeah, just an iconic individual, man. Yeah, amazing, amazing life for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the sad news. Obviously the biggest news. If I had a drink, pour some out for Ozzy. Yeah, sad day, but it's all kind of it seems to be how he wanted to go, so
Yeah,
happy for him, but sad at the same time.
no doubt.
But yeah, other metal news, I think we talked a little bit about it. Peeling Flesh and Acacia Strain both announcing new albums later
Yeah.
this year.
Wow, what a hammer for the deathcore community. Like if you're a
hmm
deathcore band and you're thinking about dropping an album this year, probably like mid to late this year, I would probably just postpone it like another 6 months
Yeah, maybe you
because
just
you're
wait
probably
until
not gonna,
winter.
yeah, like it's probably just not gonna get any years on it.
hmm
Quite honestly, I mean, with those two big ass bands dropping fucking crazy heat later this, I just can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, if I were a deathcore band, I would wait for like the first week of December, so that way it's enough space, and also you could still get on some end of the year lists.
Yeah,
Other than that, you're going to be lost in the mix. Because also
no
there's
doubt.
been a lot of deathcore albums that came out this year. You got Shadow Intense, Monster of an album.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you got if you're into Slaughter Prevail's new album, Slaughter Prevail's new album. Lorna Shore's coming out later this year. The other juggernaut in the deathcore community. Um,
Cryptopsy, dude. And not that Cryptopsy's deathcore, but I want to say that new Cryptopsy is kind of catching the wave of deathcore fans just because of the bands they're touring with, really, Carnifex.
mhm.
So had to get some exposure there. I think, they're definitely a respectable band to um kind of get those to I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just
I get what you're saying because they're kind of becoming in the same vein of like Aborted and Dying Fetus, to where they aren't
yeah,
deathcore, but they're heavily loved and respected in the deathcore community,
yeah,
almost as
for
if they
sure.
are one, but they're not. Because I've even seen
Right.
some. There's like a troll metal account which just calls like whatever band they don't like deathcore, and they've called Dying Fetus and Cryptopsy deathcore bands. Just
Just troll
stupid.
doing some good troll work. I love it.
I even saw they had a list of like bands, whether or not these bands are deathcore or not, and it had like a legend like white was deathcore, yellow older stuff or some stuff is not deathcore, most stuff is, and like Cryptopsy was white, Aborted was white, Suffocation was white,
Oh
and
wow.
Archspire was white. And then there's other bands like, why is this band yellow? I don't even remember what it was. It was like that is very much a deathcore band. I don't care if you let this person likes them or not. Like that is a deathcore band.
That's funny.
Yeah. Um, Acacia Strain Peeling Flesh. We're obviously gonna have to talk about
Yeah,
them later this year. So,
no
uh,
doubt. Yeah.
um, other metal news. There's two festivals kind of farther away. Um, one's a little bit closer. That the first one I guess I'll talk about is the Metal and Beer Fest announced in Denver, Colorado. I don't know if you saw
Mm,
this, but it's a
mm-mm.
awesome lineup. It is so the headliners is Acid Bath and Blood Incantation. Um,
Oh wow.
but there's also a bunch of other great bands on it as well. Primitive Man, I want to say, is on it. Just a second.
Isn't Blood Incantation, aren't they coming around here, Delmar Hall? Isn't that
Yeah,
just
they're supposed to be coming
around the
up.
corner or something?
I don't know if it's already happened or if it's coming up. Yeah, they're coming to both, I want to say Lawrence and Delmar Hall. Here we go. So this Metal and Beer Fest. Okay. The headliners are Acid Bath, Blood Incantation. I'll go down. Actually, I'm gonna start at the bottom of the bands I can read. I can't read the first three bands. But then it goes Panopticon, full album set of Autumn Eternal, then Primitive Man, then the Red Chord playing Clients all the way through, Dead Guy, Chat
Ooh,
Pile, and then I Hate God, and then the headlining bands. So that's an exciting one.
hell yeah. We missed Blood Incantation at Delmar Hall.
Damn it. Aren't they are they
It
coming?
was last night. Yeah. That's
Aren't
why
they
though.
going?
Fucking Monday. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
terrible, terrible time.
Monday in the Midwest is probably the worst time to play.
Um, but then there is this other festival that I feel like is even more exciting. The only issue is it's farther away. And this festival, it's been an ongoing festival the past couple of years. Um, but this year it seems like they're taking about three or four of the like biggest summer tours and just combining it all into one fest. Because these are all
Oh
bands that are
shit.
touring together mostly. Some there's all on different tours. I'll read the bottom and work my way up, and I'll see if you can figure out which tours I'm talking about.
Oh
Because
wait.
we've talked
I
about three
already
of these. Oh,
Yeah,
you
I know
have?
what you're talking about. I know one tour that's involved. Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, so it's Madball, Full of Hell, Shadow of Intent, Despised Icon, Sanguisugabog, Municipal Waste, Drain,
Damn.
Bury Your Dead, Final Show Ever, Black Dahlia Murder,
What?
Kublai
Wow.
Khan, Cannibal Corpse, and Lorna Shore.
Oh, wow, dude. Where's this at?
This is in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Damn. That's huge. Is that a 1 day festival? Or,
Yes.
oh, geez.
Oh,
Shit.
actually, I missed some. There's some even more at the bottom that don't have the logos. So, more bands: Vomit
Wow.
Forth,
Oh,
Varials,
shit.
Teeth, Peeling Flesh, Hard
Oh,
Target, Guilt Trip, Gideon, Gates to Hell, Chamber, Big Ass Truck, Bayway, and All Out War.
wow. I want to say we covered Big Ass Truck, didn't we?
Uh, I don't know if I've actually listened to them. I keep seeing their name pop up. I don't know if I've actually listened to them.
I thought they were on a playlist recently, but I could be mistaken. That sounds epic as hell. Damn. Wish I was closer.
Yeah, it almost sounds like worth the drive because that
Dude, for
is,
real. That's huge.
yeah, because that's the Lorna Shore tour, the Kublai Khan tour, the Cannibal Corpse tour. Those are then Sanguine Sugabog tour. I don't know where these other bands are coming from, but yeah, it's like three or four tours wrapped up into just decided to all play this one show. September 20th, if you're in the Massachusetts area, let us know how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, if
Can't
you're a
go,
fan
but
of metal, dude, can't fucking miss that one.
absolutely not. Because these are about three or four tours we would have to go to individually if we want to see any of this.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
if you're in the
awesome.
area, check it out. But for me, that's all I have for Mel News. Do you have any Mel News you want to bring up?
No, that's it for me, man.
I gotcha. So, let's talk about some dad stuff. I was gonna try to transition the Aussie stuff into like a whole thing, but I feel like we already talked about everything, and also that was
Okay.
at the beginning of the news. So, so actually, I do have a topic now. Not
Okay.
so much fatherhood. This is more about married life.
Oh, fuck. No.
I bring it up because obviously we're both married, not to each other for obvious reasons, because we both have kids, but we have our own separate spouses. Um, but we've both been married for a long enough time to where we probably have the ups and downs, and there's stuff like that. But
Yeah. No.
there's always gonna
I'm kidding.
there's always going to be that, and it's all dependent on different factors. And one of those things I've noticed is mostly just kind of figuring each other out more and more. Like, yes, there's dating, however long you're dating, also matters too when it comes to before you get married, but it's also just identifying each other's like communication styles and also like love languages. Because I feel like the biggest problems we have is our clashes in communication styles and also love languages. Do you guys subscribe to like the whole love language kind of thing? Do you know about that?
I've heard about it more so on her end, I I've heard, about the concept of it, individuals have their own way of it, basically expressing their emotions, which yeah, sure, that absolutely makes sense. I just don't know that it's all easy to figure out by reading a chart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's where I
I
just kind of unsubscribe to that shit, and I'm just like, okay, this is just
yeah,
clickbait kind of shit. You know what I mean?
I do think there is a lot to that in there as well, but I do think just the core principle of it, I kind of do like a little bit more because I did the
Right.
tests and stuff like that, and it came out to like, yeah, I could have told anyone that, because mine was obviously touch, because it's all about how you show love and how you want love shown to you, because they could be different as well. Like mine was, I'm a physical touch. I feel
Yeah,
like most dudes are like that's how we validate that we are loved and how we love someone. But there's also acts of servitude, words of affirmation, and gifts. Um, and I don't know. I feel like for me, when it comes, obviously, the receiving, it has to be physical touch. And it's not necessarily sexual, but it is more
yeah,
of like I don't know, the feeling of being desired. That's what I kind of, it's like, yeah, that's how I know I'm
sure.
loved and stuff like that. Uh, Outwardly, I'm more of, I will do the touching, but it's also like doing something for the other person. I like to clean or do something to make her life easier and stuff like that. So, but Danny's the opposite. She's very much words of affirmation and
Hmm.
her giving is more of a I think gifts is what I've noticed. So there's a little bit of conflict when it comes to that. Because also she's not very much a touchy person. So there's also that kind of conflict. But I don't know. We've kind of risen above that, and it's being together as long as we have. It's one of those things, identifying and understanding that it's not necessarily, if you're upset, it's not necessarily the other person's fault. You just kind of have to mature and realize that, you know what? I can't force someone else. Like that's not how they do it. It's not really their fault. It's more on me for expecting certain things a certain way. But
Mm.
that's where most of our conflicts has come from, that and the communication style. What would you say? I know we're getting a little in the weird territory. What would you say is your love language?
Dude, I'm all the way physical. I mean,
hmm
as soon as I come in the door from work, I'm chasing those hams, if you catch what I'm doing. No, it's
No, what are you talking about?
yeah. I yeah. So no, it's I'm definitely I'd say I'm probably in line with that too, in that, I'm probably pretty similar to you. Like I don't know. I'm not real physical touch crazy, love languagey. I'm more of kind of like acts of service sort of thing, but we also kind of have very, I guess what you would classify as traditional kind of household, you know, positions, self-appointed. It's not like
Mhm.
it's, one way or the highway sort of shit. It's like first and foremost, a relationship needs both parties to be able to compromise. I think once you get to compromising and start navigating the life from there, then I think, you're probably going to figure it out. But and it is talking, it's communicating, and I think 90%, probably 95, maybe 99% of problems are caused by lack of communication or just a miscommunication somewhere. You could say something to someone and think that it may not mean shit to you, but to them may be totally different. And so that's, definitely obstacles that I've personally come across and experienced and tried to learn from and go about it from there. I just have a very kind of harsh outlook on life, or did prior to kids, but so I kind of went into this fatherhood role with a harsh outlook on life, and it's definitely softened me up since having kids, because I think you have to kind of having kids forces you to look at the beauty of life, whereas prior to not having kids, you don't really have to. You can just look at all the problems and focus more on the problems. Well, when you have kids, you can't just focus on problems, because then you're just a sour sap and you're gonna do nothing but raise fucking sour saps. You know what I mean? It's
hmm
so it I you got to find the blissfulness and soak it up sometimes when you can. Even though the world around you seems like it's getting crazier and crazier every day, you literally have to stop and slow down, smell the roses, man, smell the fucking flowers and chill. Otherwise, you could just lose your sanity. But um, yeah, I don't know, going off on a tangent here, but yeah, communication just first and foremost is key. And yes, I subscribe to. love languages. Everyone's different. Every individual's going to be different. And it's just a matter of what that person's like, and how they express it, different ways. I mean, um, yeah, and it's a constant battle. I say acts of service, but I'm also not doing the amount of stuff she's doing at night. But also, like I said, I mentioned like traditional kind of roles. Like I kind of like to kind of handle and maintain like the outside of the home and structural integrity of the home. So like household repairs, typical shit that, I think a man of the house should probably handle. I try to tackle it, and I try to learn about it and fix it. And um, whereas, I think that she is going to rely on me for that shit at this point, and I'm okay with that. I think she's okay with that, So it's just like we never talked about that. We never planned it that way. Just kind of fell into that shit. And so I may not, fold the laundry all the time or do the dishes, put them up all the time. I try to do those things and help out when I can. Um, but I'm also pretty busy at the same time. I've got a lot of school, so I think that she knows that, I've got a lot of weight on my shoulders for the remainder of why I'm in school. So I may, literally sit down more at home in my evening hours on the computer trying to do school while she's doing other stuff. And it's just, I don't know, we're just kind of code juggling,
Mm-hmm.
things. I mean, she may volunteer to mow one night, and then I'll take dinner, something like that. It's just so just never know. But I don't know. Yeah, communication I think is just ultimately first and foremost probably the most important thing that there is to surviving a relationship, figuring
Mm-hmm.
that shit out, talking your problems out rather than yelling them, screaming them, or, you know, uh, casting blame. It's just
Yeah.
talk it out, man. Slow down,
Yeah.
explain your shit a little better, talk it out.
Yeah. And I will say that was a big thing when it came to our communication was I had to figure out a way to, because it's one of those things like when you do have a problem and you want to talk about it, like, because you obviously have to talk about it or else it's just going to get worse and worse. Is one of those things that when you are communicating, it's making sure you aren't like doing a finger pointing or a blames like, oh, I feel this way because you did blah blah. Because then it's going to be accusatory, and then it's just going to devolve into a worse situation to where it'll happen. Because then you'll feel like they're not listening to you. It's just a turntable. Really, if how you approach it is going to make it seem like you are accusing them of something, to where instead of
Yeah,
turning into instead of an us, it's a you versus me kind of thing. Instead of let's
yeah,
work through this kind of thing together.
yeah. And I've this is going to kind of be off on a side rail note here, but I once listened to a podcast and it featured this. I guess he's kind of popular on social media nowadays, but Sod Guru or something like that. He's kind of like I don't know. He's got theories about just how to kind of like psychological theories and stuff like that. But one of the things that he kind of subscribes to is being in control of your reaction. And, he basically explained a situation where two individuals, one does something, even though it may be profound and obscure and terrible, the other person, either reacts poorly or they they can control and maintain their reaction. Basically, if you are mad, that is because you are allowing yourself to be mad. You are 100% in control of your reaction. And I just thought about that, and I can't really argue with that. I think that is absolutely right. If you are getting mad and you're in an argument with another individual, it's kind of your fault for getting mad. Why are you getting mad? Ask yourself why you're getting mad the next time you get mad. Like break it down. You don't have to talk it out, but you can break it down in your head and find out why. And, are you lying to yourself? Is it because you didn't do this thing, or that this person's accusing you of doing, and you're getting angry because you're lying to yourself, or what is the reaction stemming from? Why is? Which, I mean, this can be for any kind of situation out there. I don't know. I don't know how I'm trying to connect the dots here, but yeah. Anyways, ever since listening to that, I've kind of really tried to don that perspective and think about situations when I get upset. Why am I getting upset? Is it because I'm pissed off because I'm not getting something that I expected, or is it because of, what's the reaction from? And with that, I was able to kind of control like this, and it's not with every scenario or every situation, but it's just, I think, a good thing to maintain for psychological health, really. I think it's good to be positive, maintain control of your emotions, really. Don't lose your shit because, especially if you have young ones looking up to you as a role model, I think that's more important than anything. Being a father figure.
Hmm.
Um, your reaction, they're learning from your reactions, and it's quite possible they're going to replicate your reactions just as you do. So it's for those reasons why I think that I hold that statement of you are in control of your reaction to such a high degree, because when young people are watching you that you give birth to, it's just natural that you're going to be the one that they look up to. So creating that role model kind of figure to them, I think is just important. But I don't know. I was going to try to connect that somehow to what we're talking about, but I can't quite find the bridge. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I understand because it stemmed from what I was talking about with the whole like when you are communicating about something that is an issue, and like you said, if something is making you mad, especially in those situations, reset yourself, come with a cool head and a logical head, control those emotions, and actually be logical and and mindful of like the situation, like, and also realize, like you said, is it actually a big deal or not necessarily like, well, yeah, is it actually a big deal or is it more on your own self instead of the other person?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Sorry. All right, I'm back now. Basically, okay. Talking about like love languages, or, I think that, okay, for example, I'm the kind of person, if I get in an argument specifically like with my spouse, then I I need time alone. I need to process, and I just want to give myself time, especially if I get angry, because the more that this argument or something goes on for, I've found that I kind of lash out quickly and maybe get to where I'm saying things that that shouldn't be said, that ultimately shouldn't be said. Uh, now, she wants to handle it right then and there. And so that from right then and there, it's a problem. You know, she's chasing the problem, and I'm wanting to back away and give myself time and space to process things. And now we just have it's a non-meshing situation. But, after many, many fights, we finally were able to get to where we're explaining that to each other rather than just me lashing out and saying things that I don't mean, having to apologize for later on. Um, so now I think it's taken into consideration if we do get to that point. But then also, more importantly, I had to kind of also side reflect, and it's just like, okay, well, why can't I handle a situation right then and there? Because I kind of think that's the problem. Is that, am I just running and hiding? Is it because I am in the wrong? And I found that, some of it is like, maybe. I think it's important to second guess yourself. It's
Hmm.
important to question yourself. I don't know. I align with scientists a lot because, the ultimate scientist motto is question everything. That's where it stems from. And so I just have kind of always tried to do that, or naturally. I haven't done it as good in my past, as obviously it's just, I think coming with age, navigating. But Yeah, it's a teeter-totter. It takes work from both parties too, because I think that, it's with a situation like that, she's wanting to solve it then and there. I want to run away. I think talking that out several times, has helped to where we don't really have lash out arguments like we used to. It just doesn't get there.
Hmm.
Um, it's not that we don't still have arguments and problems, but those years of navigating those fights that were bad have kind of, I think, trained us in a way of how to handle them for the next time. And then on top of that, we also have two kiddos in the picture. And so we want to be the most appropriate we possibly can be in front of them because, we don't want to be, yelling in front of kids and stuff. Again, they're just going to replicate your behavior. So, trying to monitor that as well, and just trying to manage everything, I guess. Yeah, with years comes experience, and especially living with someone, you are it it gets easier. The road definitely gets easier, but it takes a few battles to keep going. It does, and it takes effort
Hmm.
as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I'm very much the same way. I don't want to solve it right then and there. Give it some time. And I do think it is multiple reasons. For me, typically it's to not get defensive and not get emotional. Uh, because usually like most of the time it's usually like a text in the morning. Because
that says
usually
K,
no,
period.
not
No.
necessarily like usually like I forget something or she can't find something. And I think it's also the fact I'm not there. It's through text. So I automatically
Yeah,
think
text
like
is bad. Yeah.
I just think it's automatically like an accusatory thing. So usually I'll just leave it there. It's like, all right, I will respond to this because I'm thinking usually it's like probably just woke up, it's probably cranky. Also, I might be reading into it because it's also morning for me and I'm reading into things. So let me just uh move on and we'll talk about it at home, see if if this was an actual issue or if it is like just like meh, just like hey, you left your dog outside this morning. Oh, okay. Like I didn't. It's one of those things. Like, is it an actual fight thing, or and then she's mad at me, or is this just like, hey, you did this, and I think is an accusation because also the text can't connotate her tone or anything like that. So then there's
Right.
also times where it's like you said, there's kids around, and also need to process your feelings. So it's just kind of like. All right, well, I'll bring this up later when it's just me and her, and also cooler heads can prevail. I can be more thought out, realize if this is an actual issue or and stuff like that. And we both kind of
Yeah.
do that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's cooperation at the end of the day. It's working with the other person. I mean, that's what it's going to take. You can stand your ground all you want, but is your ground worth standing on? And yeah, I think that's important to ask in those times, in those moments of anger and fucking you're pissed off, you're just not thinking straight.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's about all I have left for this. Anything else you want to add to the marriage
Nope.
discussion?
No, I think we handled it.
All right. All right. Well, that means until next time, we are Death Metal Daddies. Next episode, we're going to do the Dillinger Escape Plan ranking. But
Hell
until
yeah.
then, Death Metal Daddies out.
Bye-bye.
Metal Daddies.
It is 3 p.m. and I'm about to start crying next to my